Well, hello everybody. It's been quite a while here. We're happy to
Mhm.
see you here at Movie Show Plus. I'm Tom Santilli, film critic for Movie Show Plus, here with Greg Russell. Greg
Hello,
Russell,
great to see you all.
you were
Happy
laughing.
June.
Yeah,
Happy.
yeah.
Is it June, Tom?
Oh gosh, please.
Uh,
I hope I'm not going to tell you no. I hope that it is. I hope that it is. You were laughing as we got on the air here today. What's so funny over there, Greg? What's going on?
I don't know. I think it's just just being so used to now just being here in the basement and doing these things, and trying to figure out what shoes am I wearing, and I realize I'm not even wearing shoes. I'm wearing socks. So it's
Oh
just
yeah.
all fun and laughs. All fun and laughs, Tom.
I was on Channel 7 last week, and I put a suit jacket on just because I wanted to know what it felt like again. I hadn't worn a jacket in, like, 7 months or whatever. So,
Right.
yeah, it's crazy. But anyway, Greg, it's great to see you.
Great
I'm
to see
sure.
you too.
Oh, I thank you. I'm sure everybody out there is thinking the same thing. Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
Yes, we did. We had a very nice one. Turkey pot pies.
Mm,
Well, since
beautiful,
it's just going to be the two of us.
beautiful.
So,
We have lots to talk about. All
mhm,
kinds of movie news, really, since the last time we were on the air.
right.
As people know, right now we're still in the midst of that 3-week pause. Supposed
Hmm.
to end December 8th. Who knows if it'll get extended? COVID is spiking here in Michigan and across the country, but movie theaters are closed. But Greg, there was
Yes.
really big news about Wonder Woman 1984. Uh,
Right.
to catch people up, if you don't know, that movie will be coming to theaters on Christmas Day,
Hmm.
hopefully in Michigan if theaters are open.
Right.
But it'll also land on HBO Max the very same day, which is kind of unprecedented for this for big films. What are your thoughts on this Wonder Woman news, Greg?
And it's funny. I was going to ask you the same thing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
one of those where, like as we've already talked about, I think a couple of weeks back, how Disney had already said they're now really putting all their efforts towards their streaming platform.
right.
And
Yep.
if they can get stuff out in movie theaters, they will. But that's now primarily going to be their thing. And
Yeah,
like you said, by coming out on Christmas Day on both HBO Max and in some of the theaters, the odds are more people are going to be watching it streaming on that
sure,
day than
sure.
going out. So this might be, movies always make, different turns, throughout its history. Because
Yeah.
I told somebody not too long ago, I said, if you look up the history of movies, people were complaining when they were talking about making movies talkies. They
Yeah.
were. It's like,
Sure. Yeah,
what,
right.
talking in our movie? No way. And,
You
of
you were
course,
there, so I believe you.
oh
Uh,
yeah, oh that was the greatest junket. Oh, me and Chaplin for the kid. Oh, what a hoot!
yeah.
But but yeah, people
uh,
complained about that. People complained when they started making movies in color,
yeah.
and but it's just this thing, and just because of what's going on, like you said, right now, I hope it doesn't just stay that way. But I got a funny feeling that's the way it's going to be for a little bit of a while.
Well, of course, movie theaters have lost their negotiative edge. That they
Right.
have no leverage in this situation. Where in the past they've had a lot of leverage. They've always fought the window of time. A
Hmm.
movie would come to theaters and then be released on streaming or home video, and they just right now it's like they'll take whatever they can get. It's a
Yeah.
struggling. They've been hit almost harder than anybody.
Right.
Which brings me to a real quick thing that I like to point out. There's a website people can go to. It's called saveyourcinema.com, or you
Oh,
can use
okay.
hashtag saveyourcinema. And it's put together by NATO, which is a National Association of Theater Owners. And it basically is, they're not asking for money or any kind of fundraising. What it is a way for people to easily, though, draft a letter and send it along to their congressman or congresswoman, just to show support for cinema. They're to the
Right.
point now where, like a lot of other businesses, they need some kind of maybe federal aid or assistance to if they're
Hmm.
going to stay afloat, or otherwise,
Right.
we're going to see it's going to be a different landscape in 2021 and beyond for sure.
And I agree with you. I agree with you. So hopefully,
Yeah.
like you said, they will be able to stay afloat. Then once, the vaccine and all this other stuff, comes out, and maybe things just begin to move into the new normal,
Yeah.
people will then think about going back into movie theaters.
So anyway, Greg, let's just get right to it, man. We got a lot to talk about.
I'm ready. Let's dive in, Tom.
Do it.
Whoosh. All of of us grew up doing voices, impressions, and different things. And now here you, I mean, you're doing it, you know, for a living.
I'll tell you, it's not true. I mean, it's not too far from the truth. I essentially get paid, Greg, to do what used to get me in trouble in 7th grade in Grand Blanc, Michigan. I was not dangerous, nefarious, but I was a bit of a smartass.
Right.
To be able to get to our age and have had, by any measure, a really lovely career. But before I punch my ticket, I get to do a show that has become utterly iconic. I don't draw them, I don't write them, but I get to play with these people. With Tress MacNeille, Jess Harnell, and Maurice LaMarche again. And this king of Hollywood at what, 73, 74, says, hey, Rob, Tress, Jess, you guys want to do this again? Maurice, are you? It's I really do. I have long sleeves on, Greg, because I'm black and blue from pinching myself. I truly, I'm from Grand Blanc, Michigan. How did this happen? I'm now talking to, you know, my new friend Greg, with technology that wasn't even a thought. Yeah. And people are going to be able to watch their favorite episodes of Animaniacs on Hulu, and then take a 25-year blink of an eye and watch brand new episodes with the same voices they loved before and the same subversive humor with their children. God, this is fantastic.
Happy birthday, Daddy Mac.
Well, that one's wrapped up so nice it must be from Frank. Electric shoe polisher.
Next.
I never knew why Daddy Mac was so mean to Uncle Frank. He was the kind of person I wanted to be. Smart and funny and considerate.
You're gonna be the person you decide to be, or you're gonna be the person everyone else tells you are. You get to choose.
Can I come visit you sometime? Hi, I'm Frank's niece.
Oh my God, Beth, nice meeting you. Frank didn't tell me you were coming.
That's because he doesn't know.
He doesn't know. Oh, well, okay, this is gonna be very exciting.
How do you know Uncle Frank?
He's my roommate.
Wally and I lived together, we have for 10 years.
Never known anybody who was gay before.
Of course you have. Choir director of church.
Mr. Jurgensen? But he's so
What?
religious.
A very, very interesting movie. When I first knew I was going to do it, I just read a little bit about it, you know, but wanted to be, when I say surprised, and I was, and I mean, very intrigued, you know, especially about the subject matter and the time period. Because it's kind of funny, Paul, your character, Uncle Frank, today, you know, for the most part, everything just would be fine. 1973, oh my goodness, that was ready to destroy the family and blow up the world. It's kind of amazing things that have changed over 47 years, isn't it?
I think it is, especially in certain parts of the world and certain parts of this nation where I expect it's easier to be the person you are freely. And I imagine there are parts of this country where it's that is still difficult. But I think that setting it in the 70s really does ratchet up that fear for Frank.
Many years ago, when I came out of the closet to my mother, she surprised me by telling me that she blamed my father because she thought that he might have been that way too, which surprised the hell out of me. I don't know if it was true because he had already died at that point. Right. But then later she told me about a young man who drowned and who was a real good friend of my father's, and he accompanied this young man's body on a train back to their hometown of Asheville, North Carolina. And something in my, just a window opened in my consciousness about what if that were true. I'll never know if it was, but what if it were? And then it sort of percolated for many years. And eventually I sat down and wrote the script, I guess about 4 or 5 years ago.
I liked Kitty because it was fun to play a member of the family that also wasn't a member of the family, if you know what I mean. Like she's an in-law, so she's been around these people for most of her adult life, but at the same time still does, I felt like was a little bit of an outsider.
And then for your character, Lois, okay, hers was a little bit more, open at times with the things that she was saying. But I guess it's like, hey, I'm at this point in my life, I can say what I want to say.
Say what you want to say.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, a long life of many kinds of denial as well.
I really loved the script. I thought it was great. I thought it was very different from other stuff that I've done before. So this was like a good, a different script. And it really stood out to me just, how people acted back then. And there's a lot of, I think we've improved. Though at the same time, there are some similarities that, that we still need to fix. Though I'm really happy about good thing about my generation is that we're definitely active.
Things are better today, but I'm sure like 30 years from now, people are going to look back and they say, oh my God, look how they lived their life. So we're progressively getting better, slowly but surely, hopefully. Definitely we have some setbacks sometimes, specifically in this country, that hinders our moving forward, but we're on the right track.
That conversation changed my life.
But I sure did
A lot of people don't know what it takes to direct an animated film even, but there had to have been more challenges. I would assume that this film wasn't, this was being worked on in 2020 in some capacity. What was it like trying to kind of, steer the ship into the port?
Yeah, it was unexplored territory. It was like so we were about halfway done with the movie when the pandemic really, took effect and we had the lockdowns. And so that, was a pivot where I'm so used to being in the room with everybody. I love the interaction. I love being able to hear ideas and go, yes, that's the best idea. Let's do that. And I was like, how are we going to do this from our individual homes? It was really a testament to, I'd say, DreamWorks that they were able to so quickly get us up and running. So that technology-wise, we could finish, but also just the personalities, the creativity of people finding ways to finish this movie. And one of the cool things is we came back into the studio over the last couple months to see what we'd done. We were grooming stuff, and we saw it on a big screen, and we're like, this looks amazing, way better than I even expected. So the quality of it wasn't affected, and I'm just even more impressed with this crew now.
Well, most adults too, they always want to know, not only is it appropriate for their children, but there's a kind of animated film that doesn't land for the adults. And in this film, there's something in there for everybody. Talk about the importance of trying to balance that and making sure that this was like a film that the whole family could enjoy.
Absolutely. I'm a father. I have 3 young kids. I think we all know the experience of watching something going, I don't want to watch that. You got the whole family wanting to watch different things. And it's rare, but awesome when you find a movie, you go, let's watch that. It's funny for me. It's funny for you. Sure. Everybody has a way in. That was the goal, to go like, this should be, we're exploring themes that are very important and relevant of expanding your idea of who your group is, expanding the pack. And there's, all these undertones, but also ridiculous comedy is at the forefront. Sure. And, I think that was the goal. Let's have everybody be able to laugh and enjoy this movie.
About you and Kenneth Marquis.
What's a Kenneth Marquis?
He's your angel dumpling, that's what he is.
Is Daddy mad?
They can be a great people color as they wish to be. They only lack the light to show the way. For this reason, above all, I have sent them you, my only son.
Mr. Smith is waiting for you.
Yeah, I'll take care of him.
And Mr. Eddie called. Can I call him to tell him to come in?
Oh, here we are. I bet this brings back some fond memories, huh?
Last time I was here, I was getting wheeled out on a stretcher.
Not that memory.
Throughout history, humans have had a primal instinct to compete, to dominate. And through these battles, an unexpected camaraderie was born. This is a story about my group of friends.
All right, boys, here we go. The buddy games are back.
All right. Now, I was just saying, now, Josh, is that a balloon over your shoulder?
Yeah, it's a buddy.
Ah, okay. That's the way to do the backdrop at home. There you go. Right.
We did a little screening in Fargo, North Dakota, and in Minot, North Dakota yesterday. And these balloons were at both events. So my son wanted to bring them home with us. So here we are.
Oh, well, fantastic. And your son probably, after watching the movie, just like my wife, is going, do you men ever grow up? I mean, that's...
Well, first of all, I can't let my son see this movie. Not yet.
No.
He's 7.
With what happens to Dan, right?
Yeah, if he ever met me, he'd be like, "What the? Get him away from me!"
But yeah, we don't, and it's funny that you asked that because every year we do this thing. This is something that we do, I don't know, for the last 20 years or so. And you're right. As soon as we're all mid 40s now, but it doesn't matter. Every year we revert right back to our 16-year-old selves.
You don't stop playing because you get old. You get old because you stop playing.
Stop playing.
There you go.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you.
Now, I dare ask. Everybody always asks me about my background. Now, what is that on your background?
That's a Chuck Connolly painting. He's a kind of a famous artist, and he painted this for me. It's got the victory thing. It's like a entourage type of thing here. You got a lot going on back there yourself.
Oh yeah, like my mixture of old Hollywood stuff, Charlie Chaplin, a camera, Audrey Hepburn, and the Beatles.
I see a Batman mask.
Oh yeah, got Batman over there, Vader over there.
Awesome.
To an extent, this background kind of like goes along with the movie. Here's your guy. He's a dentist, or not a dentist, but a doctor. Special
chiropractor.
Right. Chiropractor. Everybody, loves him and adores him, and he's like this pillar. But when he gets together with his buddies, he's back to being 10 years old. Yes. What is it about us guys that do that? Where we still do have Batman mask and Vader mask and all this other stuff.
Because the kid is always there. That kid is always there with you, and same here with me. And same with Doc, the guy's a chiropractor, and he gets together with all the boys, and they do this competition every year, and he becomes a child again. And that's so fun to watch. I love watching adults be children.
Enter the dragon! What? He senses fear! Come on! That was intense!
New on Amazon Prime this week is a great film about what it's like to lose your hearing. It's called The Sound of Metal and stars Riz Ahmed, who was fantastic a few years back in the HBO miniseries The Night Of. He plays a hard rock drummer who has damaged his eardrums past the point of no return. The movie itself is just well made, and Ahmed's character brings you right into the world of the deaf community, tackling the issue with realism and optimism. This subject might be a put-off for some, but for those that choose to tune into The Sound of Metal, you're not going to be able to shake this one out of your head. I really, really like this movie, and I give it an A. New to Disney Plus this weekend is the family-friendly film Godmothered, starring Jillian Bell and Isla Fisher. It's a somewhat clever attempt to update the entire fairy tale fantasy that most little girls have been sold for the past several centuries, where happily ever after has always been the ultimate goal, and fairy godmothers can be called in as guardian angels to ensure each princess gets their just desserts. This isn't groundbreaking stuff, but it's mildly enjoyable, and the modern spin actually makes sense and should resonate with this generation of children. Godmothered is enchanting enough to just barely get the passing grade of a B-. Also new this weekend is the Netflix film Mank, starring Gary Oldman as Herman Mankiewicz, the man credited as the screenwriter on the Orson Welles film classic Citizen Kane. Then there's Nomadland, starring Frances McDormand, which can also be found on VOD this weekend. Both Mank and Nomadland are generating Oscar buzz, assuming that there is an Academy Awards come April. For more detailed reviews of these and other movies, please check me out on Rotten Tomatoes. You can go to the site, search the critics list to find Tom Santilli, and you can scroll through all of my recent and not so recent reviews. Another good way to find my stuff is to follow me on Twitter at Tom Santilli, or go to the website movieshowplus.com.
And we are back with more fun and entertainment and great things to talk about right now. Joined by Steve Byrne from the Freak Film Festival, which is going to be happening coming up next weekend here in Detroit. Steve, great to see you.
Hi, Greg. So thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it and appreciate your show.
Oh, thank you. Now, for those who aren't familiar with it, which I can't imagine, but tell people a little bit about the Freak Film Festival.
Yeah, sure. So we are a documentary-focused festival produced by the Detroit Free Press Newsroom and our business arm, Michigan.com. We've been around for 7 years now. Documentaries are our focus, and we also really like to hone in on films that have strong local connections, whether that's Detroit or Michigan. And we were going to have a big physical festival the third week of April, and obviously the pandemic had other plans for us. So we're doing a virtual festival this December, December 2nd through 6th, which is the Wednesday through Sunday, and that kind of brings us to here.
Absolutely. Now, if people want to catch this, where should they go online to find it?
Yeah, so our website is freepfilmfestival.com, and that front page has a click through to the full lineup. We've got 5 films that are playing the virtual festival, and every one of them has an individual page that has, you know, the trailer, the synopsis of the film, plus an easy one-click through to buy tickets. And also on that main freefilmfestival.com page, you can buy a pass for the full festival as well, so you can see everything that we're showing.
Fantastic. Steve Byrne from the Freak Film Festival, thanks so much for being here. And yeah, we'll definitely have you coming back on all the time, you know, whenever something is coming up. Would love that.
I really appreciate it, Greg, and would love to do so. So I look forward to seeing you, meeting you in person once we're able to do so.
That sounds great. Would love that too. Coming back with more right after this.
And welcome back to Movie Show Plus. I'm Greg Russell, along with the man himself, the one and only Tom Santilli.
What's up, everybody? Yeah, another good show under our belts. Yeah, Greg, it's so nice to get to see you. And this year, in some ways, has obviously is a year like none other. In some ways, though, it has taken, it feels like 10 years, but in another way, it felt like it just flew by in a weird way. Is that weird?
No, you're absolutely right. Because again, I think back to my last on the road junket. I came home on March, I believe, 13th or 14th. And to an extent, it seems like yesterday, but I mean, that's what, 9-10 months ago now. And
yeah,
you know, just kind of, just like you said, this whole unreal thing going on. I'm quite sure there are going to be a lot of movies and TV shows made about this.
I would imagine. But that's going to wrap up today's episode. People, again, can find all of longer segments of these interviews, the full interviews and all kinds of content on our website, movieshowplus.com, along with all of my written movie reviews. And I just actually put out a thing, recirculated it because it's an old article, but I kind of updated it and refreshed it. But in case you're looking for some Christmas movies, I put out a series of lists, best Christmas movies of the new decade, best of the 90s, best of the 80s, best
wow.
old Christmas movies. So check all that out too if you guys are looking for Christmas films this holiday season.
So what's your family's tradition, either on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve?
Christmas Eve, we always, it's going to change this year big time. We always had a huge Christmas Eve party with all sides of my family. And we would, we fry up smelt because it was always tradition to eat fish.
Smelt.
So we get smelt. My grandpa used to fish it out of the river, the Detroit River, with big nets, if you can imagine that. Wow. I don't know if that was legal, but that was the story that he was doing.
Well, you know, because back during grandpa's time, everything was legal.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we usually do a huge party. How about yourself?
We usually just kind of sit here at home and in the basement again and watch our two Christmas traditional movies, or Christmas Eve traditional movies, are Love Actually and National Lampoon Christmas Vacation. And then
classics.
Once they both go off, then we turn on the channel that runs A Christmas Story 48 hours. You know, so
yeah, I tune into that as well. I have to give a plug for my favorite Christmas movie of all time. I don't know if you've seen it, Greg. I hope you have, but it's Jim Henson's Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. It is the greatest thing. Anybody who knows of it just heard me say that on TV, and they're like, "Oh my God, somebody actually mentioned it." It's such a cult classic. It was a TV special that ran on HBO like in the late 70s, and it was actually Jim Henson's audition for showing movie studios that he could do a full-length movie. And so after Emmett Otter, they greenlit the Muppet movie. So
that's great.
It's a great story. It's a great story. It's available, all over the place. And I think it's on Amazon, but Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas, everybody check that out. That's going to do it for this week's episode. Greg, I think we're going to be back again by the end of 2020, just to maybe, instead of looking back at the year, we might be just looking forward to 2021. All right, man. Well, everybody, thank you again for your support and helping us get through this year. Much appreciated. We look forward to bringing you everything movies here in the next month and in the next coming years and years and years and years, because Greg is timeless.
There you go. Thanks,
Tom. Yeah, you're welcome. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time.
All right. Take care.
Check out movieshowplus.com to watch this episode online and for exclusive content, extended interviews with Greg Russell, and a complete archive of movie reviews with Tom Santilli. Also, make sure to like and follow us on social media and on our Movie Show Plus YouTube channel.
We are strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid, but there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. Learn more at wearebroadcasters.com/hope, furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.